Hello everyone, I'm Zeta, and welcome to my Guilty Gear XX Accent Core Plus R Baiken Basics series. The first episode is going to be on Okizeme, or Wake Up Pressure. While this video is geared towards Baiken players in Plus R, it may have some useful tidbits about Okizeme for any player in either Plus R or Exard. I won't go over pressure or mix-ups in this video, so keep in mind that you'll have to learn those too, and apply them after this Okizeme. First off, let's start with some quick vocabulary. Okizeme refers to the act of pressuring your opponent while they are standing after a knockdown. It forces your opponent into unfavorable situations, limits their options, and allows you to keep applying pressure even after your combo is finished. A meaty attack is an attack that hits your opponent near the end of its active frames. It's usually done as Okizeme, and it allows for pressure follow-ups that aren't usually possible when your opponent blocks the move closer to the start of its active frames. Before we get into the nitty-gritty details of Baiken's Okizeme, let's go over her primary knockdowns. Baiken's sweep, or 2D, is easy to Gatling into. Therefore, it works as a knockdown after most mid-screen or corner confirms. However, if you go for a damaging air combo, it's not usually available as an ender. Zakuro is Baiken's punch guard cancel. It can be cancelled into from Suzerain, and therefore can be used as a combo ender. Its knockdown gives us tons of time for Okizeme setup, but it only works on aerial opponents, so you'll have to launch your opponent before you can use it. Jump Dust is more of a situational knockdown. If the opponent is high in the air when hit, they will be able to air tech out. If they're close enough to the ground, you'll get a hard knockdown. It's useful for its great corner carry and the fact that it's an excellent air-to-air in neutral. In Plus R, your opponent has a limited number of options on Wake Up. They can block an oncoming attack, they can use an invulnerable attack as a reversal, they can backdash for invincibility frames, they can mash a button in hopes of beating out flawed Okizeme. Usually this is a fast button such as 5p, 2p, etc. Lastly, they can throw you if you're within their throw range. Let's learn how to beat these wake-up options. If the opponent chooses to block your incoming attack, congratulations, they're afraid of your Okizeme. This is what you want. It lets you go for mix-ups and extra pressure afterwards. If the opponent gets impatient and chooses to use a reversal, the only thing you can really do to deal with it is to utilize a safe jump. We'll go over those soon. If the opponent doesn't respect your Okizeme plan, they might try to backdash. To beat this, you can use a meaty that is active a long time, such as Air Tatami. If the opponent is new, or has noticed that your Okizeme isn't exactly airtight, they might try to press a fast button. To beat this, just land your attack on the first frame that they wake up. It might sound hard, but this is easier than it seems with meaties such as Jump Tatami. If you're crowding your opponent too hard on their wake up, they might try to throw you. To beat this, you can use a throw invincible attack, or just stay out of their throw range altogether. You may have put it together by now, but the goal is to cover as many of these options as you can with a single Okizeme plan. Although Jump Tatami is usually the best option, there are several others. We'll go over a few of the common ones. Against most characters and in most situations, your best Okizeme option is going to be Jump Tatami. When timed correctly, it covers all of your opponent's wake-up options, forcing them to block. If you mistime the Jump Tatami, you may be vulnerable to reversals, so be sure to practice. Here's a basic example of Jump Tatami Oki. It's best to use it when you're falling, close to the ground, rather than higher up. Many of Baiken's corner combos end up crossing up the opponent and leaving Baiken in the corner. Here's an example of how you can use Jump Tatami Oki to get your opponent back in the corner and continue the pressure. Against heavy and medium characters, you can combo into a JD knockdown mid-screen. Kirei Tatami provides Oki afterwards. Against tall characters, you can jump cancel some normals into a JD knockdown. Again, Kirei Tatami provides Oki afterwards. If you mess up your Jump Tatami timing, your opponent might be able to reversal out. If you do time it right, you'll be able to land and block. For a bit of fun, you can even bait a reversal with a purposefully mistimed jump followed by a late back air dash. Baiken's 6K is throw invulnerable on startup, so it can be good to bait throw attempts when timed correctly. You need to time it late rather than meaty because it loses its throw invulnerability in the later frames of the move. It's very easy to perform, but it loses to reversals. Here's some basic 6K Oki. If your 6K does bait a throw, you can get some pretty big payoffs. If you land a corner crossover combo and you want to mix up your Oki, instead of using the Tatami example shown earlier, you can use Mawari Komi for crossover and then 6K. The timing is tough though. If you're up for hard reads, you can FD break to pretend like you're going to do a 6K and bait a reversal. In the rare situations that you find jump Tatami failing, a safe jump normal is usually the way to go. Safe jumps are a little hard to explain, but in essence, if the opponent reversals, you can land in time to block. If they don't, they're put into block. After a Zakuro ender, you have enough time to set up a jump H safe jump. This is good to bait reversals, but it can be vulnerable to backdashes unless you follow it up with a long normal like 5S or 2S. Here, Soul uses Volcanic Viper on Wakeup. We're able to land in time to block. The Baiken dummy is doing the exact same thing here with the exact same timing, but this time Soul chooses to block. Baiken's jump H connects. Next we'll cover safe jumps using jump S. After a mid-screen throw, you can use Kirei Tatami for Oki, but if your opponent has a reversal, this isn't a good idea. Instead, you can air dash jump S. This is much easier to time and beat reversals. Just like we saw earlier with the jump H safe jump setup, this will also put your opponent in block if they don't reversal. That's all I've got for now. Plus R's Resurrection has without a doubt been my absolute favorite time in fighting game history. I'm having a blast, and I hope you guys do too. I hope this Okizeme tutorial has been useful for everyone. If you have any questions or comments, just let me know.